The sole purpose of this video is to provide a basic overview and orientation of your new apparatus. This video is not intended to act as or replace individualized driver-operator training. Individual fire departments may base guidelines, policies, and procedures tailored for best practices. Pierce Manufacturing and Hughes Fire Equipment representatives are not liable for injuries caused from acts resulting from actions inconsistent with the information provided within this video and/or accompanying manuals. Refer to the Operation and Maintenance Manual for complete details relating to the components and features of this apparatus. Only trained personnel should operate this vehicle or perform maintenance. You are responsible for learning how to operate this fire apparatus under all conditions without having to refer to the manual while operating at an emergency incident. This video will discuss types of warnings and caution labels. It is your responsibility to locate and identify each of the labels and understand the importance and associated hazards. Warning labels will point out procedure that must be taken or action that must be avoided to guard against the possibility of serious injury or death. Caution labels will advise you that there is a risk of damage to property if certain precautions are not followed. Continuous training, reviewing of operation and service manuals, developing good standardized practices will assist driver operators with a more complete understanding of the components and operation of this fire apparatus. As the driver operator of this vehicle, you are responsible for understanding the function of each component of the apparatus, maintaining control of the fire apparatus at all times while in operation. Make operational and functional changes while operating at an emergency without having to read operator's instructions or safety warning labels. Operate manual override and emergency shutdown procedures immediately if a component fails to operate properly. Components location may vary with each Pierce fire apparatus. Review the exact location of each component prior to operation. Major inconsistencies between your vehicle and the information contained in this video should be directed to your sales representative. Safe operation of any vehicle is the responsibility of the driver operator. You must learn the location and function of all controls, switches, gauges, valves, inlets, and discharges. Due to a higher center of gravity, heavy trucks have a significantly higher rollover tendency than other types of vehicles. To reduce the risk of rollover, avoid making sharp turns, excessive speed, and avoid abrupt maneuvers. In the event of a rollover crash, an unbelted person is significantly more likely to become injured or die than a person wearing a seatbelt. In the event of a crash, unbuckled occupants can also become a hazard to other occupants, as they may be thrown around inside the cab. Seatbelts are required while in operation. Please refer to your warranty certificates for details and information enclosed in your manuals. Customer-installed equipment must be mounted to withstand road travel and comply with NFPA 1901. Modifications such as drilling holes or welding to structural frame components of the chassis are not permitted. Contact Pierce for instruction and review of non-structural sheet metal or other dissimilar metals for modification. Follow the radio installation guide for further assistance on installing or mounting electronics. Before placing your new apparatus into service, perform a primary inspection of key components of the apparatus, including all fluid levels, anti-lock braking systems, electronic stability control, and automatic traction control. Weigh your apparatus to ensure that it conforms to axle and brake ratings. Never exceed the gross axle rating printed on the label inside the cab. Exceeding these ratings could lead to reduced component life, personal injury, or death. Review the use of auxiliary braking systems, compression brake, exhaust brake, electronic retarder, and hydraulic retarder. Before placing the apparatus in service, refer to the operational maintenance manuals. Information on the operation and maintenance functions for the components such as the pump, pressure governor, and foam systems, along with other options, is provided in either the Pierce manuals and/or other manufacturer support information delivered with the apparatus. If you need more information, please contact Hughes Fire Equipment. Congratulations, Gilbert, Arizona, on your new Pierce fire apparatus, job number 37498. Please utilize this 5-digit job number when referencing your apparatus with Hughes Fire Equipment and Pierce Manufacturing. We'll get started on a brief orientation. Starting just under the front bumper, you'll find a forward-facing receiver hitch, also 12-volt access. On the outer edge, you'll find underslung air horns. Located in the face of the front bumper, electronic siren and PA speaker. There is one on the passenger and driver side. Unit identifier L251. Moving up onto the front bumper extension, diamond plate cover for your front hose load. As we move on to the cab face, you'll find in the lower zone emergency warning lights. Moving up to the outer edge, you'll find a turn indicator marker light. Just inside of that location, you'll find the headlight structure housing low and high beam headlights. Just above that, emergency warning lights. As we move to the center of the grille, you'll find your mechanical siren, and then directly behind the Pierce logo is the release mechanism to gain access into the hood area. There are 3 windshield wipers across the seamless one-piece windshield, and on the outer A-pillar is where you'll find your mirror housing a flat and convex mirror. As we move up to the passenger side at the brow of the apparatus, you'll find a down-facing oval mirror. As we move up to the basket area, you'll find 5 identification clearance lights and also emergency warning lights upper zone. You'll also find a 2.5-inch discharge located at the front section, and then also 2 master stream devices, one on the passenger and one on the driver's side. At the very top section, you'll find floodlights. Let's go ahead and take a look at some of those items that we just talked about. First, we'll start back under the front bumper. This is the receiving hitch and 12-volt access. Front discharge. Let's go ahead and take a look inside the discharge area. General view here of your front bumper extension. As we move to the Pierce logo, this is where the latch for gaining access into the hood is located. Once inside this space, you'll start on the passenger side where you'll find the fill location for your windshield wiper fluid. Moving over to the driver's side, you'll find your recovery coolant tank. Also instructions on the rear cab wall, which will provide you information on cab raise and cab lower. Just to the right, the yellow and black push button is the activation for cab raise or lower. Down into the red quarter turn, this is either the indicator for position for raise or for position for lower. And then also power steering fluid. General view here of the entire side of the truck. We'll start now on the driver's cab area. Let's start first with the wheel, where you'll find a visual sight gauge into the center of the Alcoa wheel. Moving to the front bumper extension, a side-facing emergency warning light. As we move toward the rear cab wall, you'll find additional emergency warning lights side-facing. Also easily accessible with a gloved hand, these are your door latch. Right next to that, you'll find the grab handle for gaining entry and exit out of the vehicle. Just over the front wheel is where you'll find your auto eject for your shoreline inlet, and then also additional AC powered 110 volt air conditioner. As we move to the very top, a side facing floodlight, and then to the rear cab wall, LED water tank level indicator. Moving up onto the roof, you'll find a slightly angled emergency warning light. Directly behind that, you'll find an additional spotlight controlled from within inside the cab area. As we move to the front basket area, you'll find a side-facing emergency warning light just over the L251 indicator. As we move to the rear of the apparatus, lower zone emergency warning lights. As we move to the stabilizers, you'll also find an additional light for positioning of the stabilizer along with the cameras located directly over the stabilizer area. As we move toward the midsection, you'll find a side-facing floodlight. General view here of the passenger side of the vehicle, same configuration and layout as you have on the driver's side, except for the exhaust located on this side. Let's go ahead and move to the rear of the apparatus. We'll identify a few items here. First, starting on the left and right side, you'll find marker turn indicator arms, also the cluster housing emergency, brake, reverse, and turn light. Just inside that location attached to the frame rail is where you're going to find your attachment points. These are for direct pull. Also the aerial inlet located at the rear of the apparatus, along with a sight gauge indicating left to right inclinometer. And then just above that you'll find a pressure gauge. In the pan door areas where you'll find the 1.5-inch ball valve for the aerial drain. As we move upward on the passenger and driver side, you'll find rear-facing emergency warning lights, in addition with rear-facing scene lights. At the very top section, you'll find additional emergency warning lights. Also in the very center, you'll find a traffic advisor. And then also just above the traffic advisor in the center is where you'll find the backup camera. Let's take a look at the tower basket. Just a few items here that we'll cover. We'll start at the very bottom section of the basket. First, starting with downward facing floodlights. There are 2 located here. As we move toward the center, you'll also find an aerial drain. Just underneath that, in the vicinity of the number 2 is where you'll find the downward sprinkler. And then also you'll find 2 attachment points on the left and right side. Let's go ahead and move now into the cab area next. Let's start first with the door panel, where you'll find affixed to the door panel safety and warning placard information, door lock and latch combination, and then also electric window control. As we look to the base of the seat, you'll find a auto charge indicator. When plugged into Shoreline power, this will become active. Also, just to the front of that location is where you'll find an air inlet location. As we move to the floor area, you'll find foot pedals. These are for the mechanical siren and also air horn. As I move to about the left knee of the operator, you'll find your command zone access, engine ABS diagnostics, and also SRS transmission diagnostic. This is for your maintenance team. Also below that, some switches here for ABS diagnostics, engine regen, and then also regen inhibit. Moving to the dash cluster, down at the very bottom, difficult to see in this image, is your master battery switch. It's the red switch, quarter turn, activates power. As we move to the upper left, 4-way flasher, start and ignition switch, switch labeled EM, which stands for emergency master. This will engage and disengage all emergency lights along with your headlights and a panel switch. OK to engage the high idle indicator and switch. As we move up to the dash cluster, you'll find your transmission, oil, depth level, and water temperature. On the right side, you'll find volts, fuel, front air, and rear air. Located in the center, you'll find the tachometer and speedometer. Diagnostic information will display above and also below the speedometer, in addition with the indicator located, which is at the very bottom in between the speedometer and tachometer. General view here just to the right of the operator. Let's first start with the yellow diamond. Pull to apply your system parking brake and push to release. Your vehicle is equipped with a Pierce command zone. It is a touchscreen and also function button. Just to the right of this location is the Allison transmission pad with a note for pump in drive. Also, as we move just to the right, you'll find the traffic advisor at the rear of the apparatus. Also, switches here for the engine brakes for on and off, setting switch for low, medium, and high, off-road traction, and to the very far right, your mirror heat. This vehicle is equipped with an aerial master, aerial PTO, and generator PTO. They are located in the upper portion, along with stabilizer camera, diff lock, basket leveling, and load manager. Down at the bottom, you find your pump shift. There are instructions from road to pump and also from pump to road. Just as a reminder, 2 green indicators for pump operations. At the very top, your mirror controls for passenger and driver side, and also your climate control, heat, air conditioning, and defrost, and then also your spotlight control module. As we look overhead of the driver's seat, you'll find this yellow placard indicating the height, 12 feet 2 inches, length of the vehicle, 47 feet 1 inch, gross vehicle weight rating, 84,000 pounds. If you make any adjustments, please update this placard. As we move just to the right, a switch panel for the emergency master, siren brake, siren horn, air horn, driver scene, passenger scene, front scene, and rear scene. Moving just to the right of this location, an additional switch panel. This is for the Opticom, high beam flash, roof light, front warning, side warning, lower rear warning, and upper rear warning. When any of the switches have been activated, the green light will illuminate within the background area. Just to the right, you'll find your siren control module and PA speaker system. Directly in the center of the area, you'll find your HOS system, Traffic Information Status Center. Also, you'll find at the very front section your seatbelt information center, indicating red, someone is in the seat and not belted, green, they're in the seat and belted. Also, red indicator, do not move your apparatus when this light is flashing. You may have a compartment or door open. Also, your unit radio speaker located in the center. Let's take a quick look to the rear of the apparatus, where you'll find 2 forward-facing seats with SCBAs and then also 2 rear-facing. Directly behind the driver's seat is where you'll find the manual tilt bar. Also, you'll find the backup speaker with volume control on the face. In addition, your cradle point, and at the very bottom section, difficult to see in this image, it's the yellow placard. It's located just at the base of the seat area. Let's go ahead and go over the placard first, starting with the 5-digit job number, gross vehicle weight rating, cold tire inflation, the VIN number, fluid capacities for each component, fluid capacity, and fluid type. This also houses information for cold tire inflation. As we move to the front axle, you'll find Alcoa wheel, Michelin tires, and a visual sight gauge into the center of the axle. To the exterior, auto eject for the shoreline inlet, and then also the 110-volt air conditioner. As we move to the rear cab, let's start with the door panel, a fixed door panel, safety and warning placard information. Also, you'll find at the hinge point a red grab handle for gaining access in and out of the cab. Overhead, push on and off red or white lens lights over the seat area. Also, you'll find 2 rear-facing seats and heaters just underneath those seats. There is a pedestal located in the very center with access just under the pedestal area. You'll also find at the forward section at the rear of the engine access for your daily checks for oil and transmission levels. Moving to each side, both passenger and driver side, you have an additional shelf located here with a flashlight located on each side, and then also additional access just under the 2 center seats. As we move exterior, you'll find bottle storage here for your extinguishers, and then as we move to the exterior, just in front of the pump panel, long-handled tool storage. Let's go ahead and start with the pump panel. We'll start at the very top section with your crosslays. There are 3 crosslays located behind the netting, crosslay 1 and 2, and also a 2.5-inch crosslay. Moving to the master pump intake and master pump discharge gauges located in the very top section. Also engine information, along with tally light information for stop engine, check engine, and additional information regarding your engine values. Also, as we move down to the lower left, a warning regarding entanglement hazard, because of those lines coming off from the side there is the possibility of entanglement. Your push to prime air prime with at least 1,000 RPMs for best practices, water level indicator gauge, and then also as we move just to the right into the gray module, you'll find the pressure throttle governor. Along with that, you'll find a black round circular speaker. This allows you to rotate to increase or dampen sound. Just to the right, you'll find a switch panel. Let's move down onto the pump panel, starting on the left-hand side, where you'll find a command zone, once again touchscreen, and also function buttons underneath that. Front discharge, crosslay 1, and a 2.5-inch crosslay. Also the aerial discharge, moving down, large diameter passenger side discharge, discharge number 1 and discharge number 2. Moving just to the right, the passenger side large diameter discharge. This is controlled via a wheel valve. Let's move just to the right where we'll find some additional information regarding pump engaged properly, okay to pump light. Also a generator on and off switch, audible speaker here, water level low indicator, and also a low water alarm disable switch. Moving further to the right, we'll find your tank fill and tank to pump. Just beneath the tank fill and the tank to pump are the test gauge ports for vacuum and pressure. They are currently plugged and are utilized for testing purposes. As we move up to the very far right, you'll find an engine cooler and also a recirculating line. These are both twist. As we move down on the pump panel, minimum operation maintenance schedule, we'll go over that in just a few moments. And then also the number 1 driver side 2.5-inch discharge. Some warning and danger placards here. Only trained personnel should operate this piece of equipment, and that's only after proper training. Also, electrocution hazard and danger, indicating that the aerial device is not insulated. Let's go back to the minimum operation maintenance schedule for test pressures of 150, 200, and 250 psi. On the left-hand side is the associated GPM at test pressure, along with the RPM at test pressure. A governed speed while in pump, 1,900 RPMs. Moving just to the right, the American flag eagle. This is your large diameter pump inlet, and also a warning regarding pressure hazard. Caps may be under pressure. Be cautious when opening them. As we move further down on the pump panel, you'll find all of our color-coded and labeled discharge drains. And then just to the right, the driver's side auxiliary inlet. This is a 2.5-inch locally controlled ball valve female inlet. To the right is the pump drain, and then also we have an additional inlet located here for the auxiliary. And then just to the right, a warning regarding fall. When climbing onto the vehicle, always face the vehicle and never ride on the vehicle while it's in motion. We do have a pull-out step located in the lower section of the pump panel. As we move now into the compartments, you'll find at the very top section, this is directly over the stabilizer. This is where your battery charger is located. When plugged into Shoreline Power, this becomes active and maintains your battery. Just below that, you'll find a warning, crush injury hazard. Because of the moving parts of the stabilizer, there is the possibility of a crush hazard. Let's move into the next compartment where you'll find your generator breaker, which is labeled G1. Also the Harrison generator control module located on the rear wall. As we move all the way to the bottom of this compartment, you'll find D-handle gains you access into a lower storage location. Let's move now just over the rear axles where you'll find just in front of the rear axle the fill location for your DEF. It is a blue cap. Also a danger placard indicating once again that the vehicle ladder is non-insulated. Also SCBA bottle storage for up to 4 bottles, one located directly in the center and underneath. Also a pull-out and tilt downward tray in the upper compartment. Just some close-ups of the items we just talked about, first starting with the DEF tank. Once again, blue cap, and then also 8-gallon DEF tank. As we move down to the tandem axles, Alcoa wheels, and once again, Michelin tires. Let's go back up to the tandem axle in between the two of those. This is bottle storage with retaining straps. The center section does lift up for an additional bottle storage location. As we move now to the next compartment back, this is where you're going to find the fill location for an ultra low sulfur diesel fill. It is the silver cap. And then right next to that, you'll also find SCBA bottle storage location. Let's move to the rear compartment next. You'll find at the very bottom section, just under the compartment, you'll find additional storage. D-handle gains you access into this space. As we move to the stabilizer, I would like to point out we do have a camera located on the stabilizer, in addition with a recessed light for stabilizer placement. Camera is located at the very top section. We do have some additional warning placards located here because of the movement of that stabilizer. We have some warning placards here also. Right next to that, you'll find a warning placard regarding climbing on and off the vehicle. Always face the vehicle while climbing on and off. In between the steps is where you'll find your front to rear inclinometer. And then we'll go to a general view of the rear of the apparatus. We'll start first at the very top left corner, where you'll find a floodlight located in the upper section. Moving just to the right, once again, a danger placard indicating that the vehicle ladder is non-insulated. Just below that, emergency warning light rear facing, and then also an activation for your rear scene lights. Let's move down from this location, where you'll find a pan door gains us access into ladder stabilizer control. This is the emergency stop, an override protected switch, and stabilizer power. We do have a diagnostic port located here for the interface for your maintenance team. Moving downward, you'll find a tethered remote. This is for activation of your stabilizers for both front and rear, right and left. Also warning here regarding aerial stability hazard. As we move to the very bottom section, you'll find a 120 volt 20 amp outlet. Let's move back to the center upper portion, where you'll find your traffic advisor located at the top section, and then directly in the center you'll find the backup camera. As we move into the torque box area, this is where you'll find your ground ladder storage area and also long-handled tools. As we move to the left side, you'll start first with the 35-foot 2 section, a 16-foot, 14-foot straight, and a 10-foot folding, and also a 28-foot 2 section. In the center, you'll find your aerial inlet, aerial inclinometer, and then just inside, you'll find the 1.5-inch drain. You'll also find a warning placard regarding entanglement hazard because of those lines coming from aloft and also the hose chute. We have a warning placard. As we move around to the passenger side of the vehicle, we'll find the controls for manual stabilizer control. There is an aerial diverter and also stabilizer diverter for emergency power. You do have manual controls. Also, just below that on the actual door itself, you'll find the information regarding the operation of those controls, in addition with a danger for high pressure fluid hazard, and then also a warning regarding tipping hazard. We'll move through the next of the compartments relatively fast. At the very bottom section, a pull-out tray, adjustable shelves, LED lighting, and ventilation. The release for that tray located on the right-hand side. Just underneath this area is where you'll find the D-handle gain you access into the lower compartment storage. Moving just over the rear axle, you'll find to the rear of that SCBA bottle storage for a single bottle. Also, driver's side fill location for your ultra low sulfur diesel. As we move downward, tandem axle, Alcoa wheel, and Michelin tires. Moving just forward of this location, tool board D-handle gains you access to the backside. When it's open, it will lock into position. There is a release on the hinge side. In between the tandems, you'll find additional storage here for SCBA bottle storage. And then also just forward of this location, you'll find first a danger placard indicating electrocution hazard, indicating the equipment is not insulated, and then also bottle storage. You do have extremely hot diesel exhaust temperatures. Please be cautious where you park your vehicle, especially during regen operations. Let's move forward into the next compartment. Once again, adjustable shelving and LED lighting. Just over the stabilizer area, we'll find an additional pan door for storage. Over the top section is your camera, and then also you'll find the electrical cord reel. We now move into the pump panel area onto the passenger side. We'll start first at the very bottom, located here with a warning regarding fall, and then also a warning regarding pressure hazard. Caps may be under pressure. Be cautious when opening them. Same configuration and layout as you have on this side for your crosslays, and also an entanglement warning hazard. Moving now to the two large diameter discharges located on the passenger side, and then also a 2.5-inch passenger side auxiliary inlet locally controlled ball valve. At the very bottom section, a D-handle gains you access into this storage space, and then also as we move forward to that location, you'll find long-handled tool storage in between the pump house and cab area. To the rear of the cab, additional extinguisher storage location. Moving now into the cab itself, at the rear portion of the cab, affixed to the door panel, safety and warning placard information, door lock and latch, grab handle, and also electric window control. Overhead is the push on and off white or red lens lights, also intercom system. As we move to the rear wall, you'll find two forward-facing seats housing SCBAs, and then also two rear-facing seats. Overhead, you'll find the SETCOM intercom system, also hangers for your headsets. Behind the officer seat, you'll find the Motorola main radio area. Also in the center section, additional resource storage. Moving now back to the exterior, to that front axle, where you'll find the visual sight gauge indicator and also Alcoa wheel, Michelin tire. As we move into the officer space affixed to the door panel, we're going to find all of our safety and warning placard information, door lock and latch, electric window control, and a grab handle. Let's go ahead and move now into the officer space. We'll look overhead first with push on and off white or red lens lights, also additional switching located overhead. As we move to the forward position, you'll find your computer mount located in the very front section. The vehicle is equipped with a supplemental restraint system. As we move to the left into the officer space, you're going to find 12-volt access and also a push button for your air horn. As we move just left of this location, it's where you'll find these red and white indicators. Warning, do not remove. These are spare wiring indicating the type of wiring and also the option number. Just to the right, you'll find the vehicle data recording port. And as we look overhead of the officer position, we'll start first on the far right-hand side with some switches, starting with an emergency master, driver scene, passenger scene, front scene, and rear scene. Let's move just to the left of this location, where you'll find your Motorola radio, and then further to the left of this location, you'll find a AM/FM weather band radio, Go light control module for the light located on top of the roof, which is your spotlight. Full view of all compartments here open on the passenger side. A few images here as we move to the turntable. At the base of the turntable, lift and turn latch gains you access into your aerial device manual controls. Just as a warning here, also we have tipping hazard. Moving now from this location up to the pedestal, which is on your left side, let's take a look at some of the items here. First, starting at the very forward position with your intercom, volume control, and push to talk. As we move to the pedestal itself, you'll find an emergency stop button. Also, you'll find tracking lights, front basket lights, and also an aerial speed for slow, normal, and fast. At the very top, we have a selector switch for your monitor, either left or right, rung lights, manual basket leveling, under basket, and emergency hydraulic power. Command zone touchscreen located on the right-hand side with function buttons incorporated within that. As we move to the controls, we have nozzle control and also ladder controls for extend, retract, right, left, lower, and raise. Let's move to the cover area. We have some additional warning placards. First, start with warning placards here, and then also some additional danger placards located down in the lower portion. Just to the left of this location, you'll find a Pierce logo, indicating on this logo your waterway dry application and also waterway charged application. You'll also find monitor nozzle positions, and then also at the very bottom, additional asterisk information regarding your aerial device. As we move to the left, you'll find the NFPA data placard. Let's go ahead and take a look at the aerial itself, starting with the ladder at the base, 3-section aerial. Moving now on to the individual fly, where you'll find a 16-foot straight. There are also boxes on each side of the main section for additional storage. These do have weight capacity limits displayed within the placard on the cover of the storage location. As we move to the front area, first let's start on the left-hand side. This is where you'll find your chainsaw scabbard. Also on the left-hand side is where you'll find your intercom system, volume control. This is passive. axe storage location, and chainsaw storage. As we move now to the warning placards here on the left-hand side, in addition with fall restraint required while operating within the bucket when it is elevated, in addition with your 100-foot stereo aero platform with a 35-mile-an-hour wind condition chart for waterway wet and dry, and then also load chart capacities. As we move just to the right, you'll find the two nozzles located in the very front section, straight stream and fog. Moving to the center section for the control module, same controls that you have on the pedestal area are also located here on the upper basket area. Ladder controls for extend, retract, right, left, lower, and raise. Moving just to the right, Pierce command zone. This is a touchscreen and also function button. Moving to the forward section where you'll find the life bracket. Please see the owner's manual for its operation. We do have additional warning placard information regarding the life bracketed system located here on the panel. As we move to the rear of the basket, you'll also find additional storage located here. And then also on the inside edge of that location is where you'll find a swivel discharge locally controlled via the ball valve. Let's move now to the dunnage area and hose chute area. First, we'll start with your water tank top fill location. Right next to that is your hose chute. And then as we move up into the dunnage area, this is where you're going to find the generator fill location, and then also your electrical cord reel. You'll also find the fill location for your aerial device hydraulic fluid. There is information on the top placard here regarding the type of aerial fluid. Moving to the front cab area, you'll find that this is a non-walking surface. We do have some indicators here indicating that it is a non-walking surface due to it being slippery and without handrails. I do have a few images here with your stabilizers deployed. The next set of images are going to be that of the chassis and also engine area. We'll identify a few items within this area. First, starting just under the front section, this is the tow location hooks. Also, when tilting the cab, ensure that you fully tilt the cab, maintaining equal pressure on both right and left cylinder. Stow the safety bar into position and do not lower the cab onto the safety bar. Maintain equal pressure. At the rear of the engine, it's where you'll find all of our fill locations and checks for oil and transmission. Your vehicle is equipped with a TAC4 independent front suspension. As we move to the driver's side rear portion of the chassis, just under the battery box area is where you'll find your jumper studs, and then also the hydraulic fill location for your cab tilt. There'll be no additional audio until the end. This will conclude the additional chassis images. Congratulations, Gilbert, Arizona, on your new piece of equipment, job number 37498. If you have any questions regarding your vehicle, please contact your Hughes Fire sales representative. Thank you and congratulations.